On the way to my sister's wedding, they left me at a gas station after I refused to wear the dress my mom picked out that still had the price tag from her divorce party. It's sentimental, she whispered. It's manipulative, I snapped. My sister turned to her and said, "Did you really think I wouldn't notice?" Silence fell. I never got back in the car. It started with a dress. Not even a nice one. Peach-colored, shiny like plastic, and clinging to a hanger in my mom's spare bedroom like it had been waiting for the right occasion to be offensive. I spotted it as soon as I walked in, hanging from the closet door like a punchline. "That's not for me, is it?" I asked, toeing off my shoes. My mom turned around too quickly. "It's for Brielle's wedding," she said. "You'll wear it tomorrow." I squinted. "That's the same dress from your divorce party." She crossed her arms. "And the one with the glittery slit and, what is that, rhinestones on the straps? You wore that to dance on a boat to hot stuff while holding a piña colada." "It's a nice dress," she said sharply. "And it still fits." I stared at her. "So what?" "So it has history. It has baggage, Mom." She rolled her eyes like I was being dramatic, like I was the one trying to re-gift trauma with sequins. "You're always so difficult. Can't you just be cooperative for once?" It was like someone flipped a switch inside me. All those years of being the easy one, the reasonable one, came to a full stop right there in her guest room, with the peach dress leering at me from a wire hanger. "No," I said. "Not this time." We left for the venue the next morning, me, Mom, and Brielle, in a rented SUV. Brielle was quiet up front, checking her phone every few seconds. I was in the back, boxed in by garment bags and a cooler of lemon water, my arms crossed, jaw tight. "You could have at least tried it on," my mom muttered without turning around. I didn't respond. "It's not about the dress," she continued, tapping at her phone. "It's about the family looking united. It's a symbol." "Of what?" I snapped. "Of your second divorce?" That hit. She flinched, turned slowly toward me. "It's sentimental. It's manipulative," I said, staring straight ahead. Brielle turned around then, slow and quiet like she was bracing herself. Her eyes darted between me and Mom. "Wait. The dress, you mean the one you wore at the party at Uncle Daryl's?" Mom didn't answer. "The one with the thigh-high slit and the open back?" Brielle asked, her voice rising slightly. "Mom, you told me you donated it." My mother's jaw clenched. "You said you never wanted to see it again. That it was a symbol of everything you lost. Those were your exact words." "It's different now," Mom said quickly. "It's a new beginning." "Oh my God," Brielle breathed. "You seriously thought I wouldn't notice?" Silence. Thick and cold and growing in every crevice of the car. Nobody said anything for a solid 5 minutes. Then my mom pulled off at a gas station without a word. I thought maybe she needed to pee or get more water. We all got out, stretching our legs in the hot, dusty parking lot. I went inside to get gum. When I came back out, the SUV was gone. At first, I thought I was seeing things. I walked in a slow circle, scanning the lot. Nothing. No text. No call. No note. Just me and the sun and a stale pack of mint gum. I laughed out loud, the kind of laugh that gets stuck halfway in your throat and sounds more like a cough. I sat down on the curb outside the store and stared at the road. They really left me. A guy walked past me with a big gulp and said, "You okay?" "Yeah," I said and lied. It took 20 minutes to get a rideshare out there. The woman who picked me up, Rosa, didn't ask many questions, just turned the air conditioning up and handed me a half-empty water bottle from her cup holder. "Are you sure your people aren't coming back?" she asked, glancing at me in the rearview mirror. "They're not my people," I said. "And no, they're not." She nodded and didn't press. Just turned up the soft music on the radio and let the ride go quiet again. I had her drop me at a cheap hotel not far from the vineyard where the wedding was happening. My bag, of course, was still in the SUV. I had my phone, my wallet, and my anger. That night, I sat on the edge of the motel bed, the AC unit rattling beside me, and stared at the ceiling. I tried to remember the last time I felt like my mom actually saw me, not just tolerated me, or managed me, or used me as a stand-in for something she never processed. I couldn't come up with a single memory that didn't have a caveat. I wasn't her favorite. That was always my brother Liam. Even when he dropped out of college to run a surf shop in Costa Rica. Even when he showed up once a year, hungover and barefoot, and still got more affection than I did. She called it free spirit. I called it being above consequences. Me? I was the planner. The fixer. The one who stayed close to home, paid for my own student loans, never asked for anything. I was the one she depended on when the roof leaked, when the car broke down, when she needed someone to drive her to outpatient surgery and didn't want to ask her real friends. But I wasn't the favorite. I was the fallback. The morning of the wedding, I debated whether to show up at all. But something about it, I don't know, I didn't want to give her the satisfaction of being right about me walking away. So I walked 2 miles down the highway to the venue, sweating through my t-shirt and jeans. I snuck in through a side entrance and saw Brielle near the back, pacing with her phone in hand. She saw me and froze. "You're not supposed to be here," she said slowly. "Yeah," I said. "That seems to be a theme." She walked toward me, stopped a few feet away. "Mom said you wanted to go back. That you were making a scene." My mouth dropped open. I didn't even talk to her. She left. Without me. "I know," Brielle said quietly. "She's been different since the divorce. Like, more controlling. More rigid." I thought she was just stressed. "She is always stressed," I said. "She treats stress like a personality." "She told me she burned the dress after you made a scene," Brielle said. "She burned it?" I asked. "Not yet. But I told her to. I told her to get the hell out of here." Her voice cracked. She took a breath. "She slapped me last night." I blinked. "What?" "Not hard. Just enough to shock me. She said I was disrespectful for questioning her about the dress. Said I should be grateful she's here." My stomach dropped. I stepped closer. "Brie, are you okay?" "I'm fine," she said. "Just angry. I feel like she hijacked my wedding. Everything's about her. Her timeline. Her narrative. Even the dress." "Then don't let her win," I said. "Do it your way." She looked at me like she wanted to believe it. "Come inside," she said after a beat. "You don't have to stand up front. Just be there. I want you there." I hesitated. "Is she going to make a scene?" "She already has," she said. "What else can she do?" I followed Brielle down the gravel path behind the vineyard where the staff were setting up long tables under hanging lights. She moved like she was carrying a weight on her back. Not from stress exactly, but from expectation. You could see it in her shoulders. She wasn't the bride floating on a cloud. She was the daughter still trying to keep her mother from detonating. She brought me into the staff entrance of the bridal suite, past racks of hanging dresses, and an ice bucket filled with champagne. A makeup artist gave me a strange look. I must have looked like hell. Sweaty, dusty, underdressed. Not exactly wedding guest material. "You need water," Brielle said. "And maybe a moment to breathe." She grabbed a bottle from the counter and handed it to me, then shut the door behind us. "I haven't told Mason," she said softly, referring to her fiancé. "About what happened yesterday." "Why not?" She bit her lip. "He already thinks my mom's intense. I didn't want him to think I was losing control of the day." She left me at a gas station, Brie. "I think we're past the point of keeping up appearances." She sat down on a velvet bench near the mirror and sighed. "God, I know. I can't believe she did that." I looked around the room. There were gift bags, silk robes, half-eaten fruit trays. It all felt staged, like a set for a bridal commercial. But the tension in the air was so thick you could slice it with a nail file. "She's been planning this day like it's her wedding," Brielle muttered. "Down to what music should play when the salad is served." I told her we wanted something casual. Fun. Backyard energy. She brought in a string quartet and told me Mason would thank her later. "Did you even want a vineyard wedding?" "I wanted a beach picnic," she said. "Blankets. Tacos." Mason was into it. But she lost it. Said it would look cheap in photos. "And you gave in." "I always do," she said, rubbing her eyes. "I didn't even realize how bad it was until last night." I sat across from her, watching her like I used to when we were kids, and she was trying not to cry about something at school. "She told me this was my big day," Brielle said. "And then she made it all about her. Like always. Like when Dad left." My stomach turned. "Yeah. You remember that year?" She redecorated the whole house. New couches, new curtains. Said it was her fresh start. I was 14. I just wanted someone to tell me it was okay to be sad. "You were the one who found the emails," I said. "Between Dad and that woman from his office." She nodded, eyes glassy now. "Mom made me swear not to tell anyone. And then when she confronted him, she used my name like it was a shield. Like I was a weapon. 'Your daughter saw you,' she said. Like I was a spy. Not a kid." "She did that to both of us," I said. "She thinks love is loyalty, not honesty." Brielle looked at me. "What do I do?" I exhaled. "You already did something. You told her no." "Yeah. And she slapped me." "You think she's gonna stop if you don't draw a line now?" Silence. Then a knock on the door. It opened slowly, and Mom stuck her head in. "Oh," she said, voice cool. "Didn't realize you were here." Brielle stiffened. "I figured I'd find you in here," Mom said, stepping in fully now. Her eyes landed on me. "You look rough. Did you sleep somewhere?" I stood up slowly. "Where do you think, Mom?" She frowned, pretending to think. "You didn't go home?" "I didn't have a way home." "Well, maybe next time you won't act like a child." Brielle's voice cracked across the room. "Don't." Mom blinked. Excuse me, don't talk to her like that. I'm just saying, no, Brielle said louder, rising to her feet. Stop. You're not saying anything. You're doing it again. Twisting it. Making her the problem. She was the problem, Mom said louder now. I asked her to wear one dress. One simple thing, and she made it about herself. It was your divorce dress, Mom. And so what? Mom snapped. It was a beautiful dress. It still is. You think I don't know what you're both trying to do? You're punishing me. Because I didn't cry enough when your father left. Because I moved on too fast. This isn't about Dad, I said sharply. This is about you needing to control everything. Even what I wear. Even what Brielle says in her own vows. Mom's voice dropped to a hiss. You've always judged me. You've always made it easy. We stared at each other. She looked older than I remembered. Like the cracks in her makeup were real now, not just mascara and powder. I saw something flicker in her expression, but she swallowed it before it could form into anything close to remorse. You have no idea what it's like to start over, she said. Yes, I do, I replied. I just don't expect everyone else to applaud me for it. I did everything for you too. No, Brielle said, stepping in. You did everything for you. And now you're mad we stopped playing along. Mom didn't speak. For a moment, she just stood there, breathing heavily, her hands curled into fists at her sides. Then she turned and walked out. No more words. No more performance. Just the quiet slam of the door behind her. Brielle and I stood there for a while, not saying anything. She was shaking, but it wasn't scary. It was released. You okay? I asked. She nodded slowly. Yeah. I'll go, I said. I didn't mean to cause more drama. No, she said quickly. Please stay. I need you here. I didn't bring anything to wear. She looked me up and down, then smiled faintly. You can wear what you've got. Screw the dress code. We both laughed, and it wasn't hollow. It was tiring, but it was real. Outside, the music started. The guests were arriving. The air smelled like lavender and champagne. Somewhere, a photographer called out instructions. But at that moment, it was just the two of us. Sisters. Standing in a bridal suite, breaking a cycle neither of us asked for. The door to the bridal suite stayed closed after Mom left. Brielle walked to it, locked it quietly, then turned to me like she'd finally found air after being underwater too long. God, she whispered, pressing the heels of her hands to her eyes. I thought I could get through this without a meltdown. You haven't melted yet, I said. Just simmered aggressively. She gave a weak laugh, and it broke the tension a bit. I moved to the window and pulled the curtain aside. Guests were trickling in, dressed to impress, heels clacking on stone, linen suits, flowy dresses in pastel tones. I spotted our cousin Miriam adjusting her husband's tie and whispering something that made him laugh. A flower girl skipped by with a ring bearer, both of them in mini tuxedos. Somewhere in the distance, the quartet started tuning their instruments. Everything looked so perfect out there. Picture frame perfect. Inside, it was a whole different scene. Strewn makeup brushes. Empty champagne flutes. And my sister is sitting on a tufted bench in her silk robe, fighting not to unravel. You still want to go through with it? I asked. Brielle looked up. The wedding. I nodded. Yes, she said after a second. I love Mason. He's not the problem. She is. I sat down next to her. Then let's get you married. She took a breath and exhaled like she was blowing something out of her system. Will you help me with my dress? She asked. I stood and reached for the hanging gown, an elegant, off-the-shoulder ivory number, simple but graceful. Nothing like the frilly, loud nightmare Mom tried to put me in. We got her zipped up, adjusted the bodice, and smoothed out the layers of tulle. As I stepped back, I could see the tension slide off her just a little. She looked beautiful. Not forced. Not curated. Just herself. There was a knock at the door again. This time gentler. Brielle. It was Mason. Everything okay? She smiled. Yeah. Just give me 2 minutes. I'll be at the end of the aisle, he said. I love you. She closed her eyes, and a soft smile bloomed across her face. I love you too. I watched her for a moment. How her shoulders straightened, how her hands steadied. She was ready. You sure you want me out there? I asked. People are gonna talk. Let them, she said. I'd rather have you there in jeans than wear that damn dress and pretend everything's fine. 15 minutes later, I was standing near the back row, surrounded by strangers in coordinated colors. No one said anything to me directly, but I caught a few sideways glances. Aunt Genevieve gave me a polite smile and then leaned in to whisper something to her husband, probably some variation of, "Isn't that the sister who?" But I didn't care. The music started. People stood. Brielle appeared at the top of the aisle, radiant and composed. Mom wasn't at her side. Mason's father stepped in to walk her down, which made me blink. I hadn't even known that was the plan. But Brielle walked like she didn't need a mother's blessing anymore. Like she was walking herself out of an old life and into something new. When she passed me, she caught my eye and smiled, not just with her lips, but all the way through. The ceremony was short and simple. Mason looked at her like she hung the damn moon. The vows were real, not polished, not Instagram perfect, just them. Honest, raw, funny at times. I saw tears on at least 4 faces in my row, mine included. But every time I glanced at Mom, sitting 3 rows ahead in a coral dress that screamed "Notice me," she was frozen. No tears. No expression. Just sitting there like she was waiting for a different script to start playing. After the ceremony, there was a cocktail hour. Guests mingled under string lights while servers floated by with trays of champagne and mini crab cakes. I tried to stay out of the way, posted near the edge of the patio with a glass of sparkling water and the creeping dread that Mom would find me. She didn't disappoint. "There you are," she said, appearing beside me like a ghost in heels. "Enjoying yourself?" "Trying to." She sipped her wine and didn't look at me. "You know, this whole thing was very hurtful." I turned slowly. Me getting left at a gas station was hurtful too. So was the slap. Her jaw tightened. I did not slap her. She has the mark, Mom. I was trying to stop her from yelling. She was hysterical. She wasn't. You just weren't in control. Her nostrils flared. "You've always been so ungrateful." There it was. The old card. The fallback insult. "You mean independent?" I said calmly. "That's what you hate." "I stopped letting you define me. I was trying to give you both structures." "No, you were trying to make us replicas of you. Safe. Predictable. Easy to manage. You were terrified we'd grow up and stop needing you." "I wanted to be needed," she burst out. "You think it's easy? Getting left behind by a man who traded you in for a yoga instructor with fake BOBS and a podcast." Her voice cracked there. Finally, there was something behind the wall. Pain. Real pain. But I didn't let it soften me. Not fully. "Maybe if you'd let us in," I said. "Instead of trying to script every part of your grief, we could have helped you." She turned toward me, eyes wide, glass shaking slightly in her hand. "You still think you know better," she whispered. "I don't know better," I said. "But I know what being loved is supposed to feel like. And I haven't felt that from you in a long, long time." We stood in that silence, surrounded by the clinking of glasses and the hum of laughter around us. For the first time in years, I didn't feel like a little girl waiting for her mother's approval. I felt like someone who finally understood that some gaps never close, and maybe that's okay. Mom looked down at her wine. "You're not going to forgive me, are you?" I didn't answer. Because honestly, I didn't know. Later, during dinner, Brielle made a toast. She stood in front of the crowd, holding her glass, her new husband's arm around her waist. "I want to thank everyone who made today special," she said. "And I want to thank my sister for showing up. Even when she wasn't wanted. Even when it was hard. That's love." A few people clapped, unsure. I caught Mom's expression across the tent. She didn't clap. She didn't smile. She just looked at me. Like she knew something was slipping out of her grasp, and maybe it always had been. By the time dessert was served, some pistachio tart Brielle had insisted on despite Mom's complaints, it felt like everyone was exhaling. The ceremony was over. The pressure had thinned, and laughter started sounding more genuine. Mason gave a short speech thanking the staff, then started dancing with his mom while Brielle sat beside me at the edge of the patio with her shoes off and a sparkle in her eye. "Wasn't perfect," she said, sipping rose. "But I think it was ours." I clinked my glass to hers. It was perfect enough. We watched the crowd for a moment. People laughing at the bar, someone doing the worm on the dance floor, a flower girl passed out on a pile of coats like a tiny drunk queen. Even the string quartet had mellowed into playing a folksy cover of "Don't Stop Believin'." Then Brielle's voice dropped. "So, what now? With Mom?" I thought about it for a second. "I think I'm done waiting for her to apologize." Brielle nodded slowly, rubbing at a smudge of lipstick on her glass. "You think she'll try to spin this later?" "She always does," I said. "But I have a plan." The next morning, I woke up early. Too early. The kind of early that only happens when something inside you is still buzzing from the day before. The air was thick with that post-wedding quiet, the calm after the storm, when chairs are folded and strangers drift back to their cities, their lives. I slipped on my sneakers, grabbed a coffee from the lobby, and headed back to Mom's Airbnb. She wasn't expecting me. She answered the door in a robe, hair wrapped in a towel. "Oh, it's you." "I just came to get my bag," I said. "The one you left in the car." She stepped aside without a word and walked toward the bedroom. The place looked staged, rented class, lots of beige and fake succulents. A pile of her things sat on the dining table. The coral dress from the wedding, 2 pairs of shoes, a makeup bag, and her planner. When she returned with my bag, she set it down with a thud. "You didn't have to make a scene yesterday," she said without looking at me. "And yet, you did." She flinched. "I'm not here to fight," I added. "I just want to say something." She waited, arms folded. "I spent a lot of years trying to earn your approval. Trying to keep the peace. Trying to be the version of me that wouldn't upset you. And now you've decided I'm not worth that," she snapped. "No," I said steady. "I've decided I'm worth more than that." I walked over to the planner. She followed my gaze. "You still color code everything," I said. "Helps me focus." I nodded, "Open it to the current week." Her handwriting filled the page in loops and sharp lines. Wedding rehearsal, flower pickups, dress fittings, rehearsal dinner guest lists. Then I flipped back 2 weeks. I found what I was looking for. Divorce party 3-year mark, I read aloud. Still sentimental? Her jaw tightened. I took a small stack of sticky notes from my bag and peeled one off. It read, "You left me at a gas station." I left you the truth. I stuck it in the middle of the planner. Right over the page she'd scribbled, "Family brunch." She didn't say anything. "I booked a table at Elmore's," I said casually. "The little brunch spot you love, the one with the garden patio. I made the reservation in your name, texted the group chat, told them you were hosting a post-wedding celebration." Her eyes snapped to mine. "You didn't." "Oh, I did. Everyone's going to show up," she said slowly, thinking. "That you invited them, yes. You're going to humiliate me." "No," I said calmly. "You're going to humiliate yourself if you lie. Or maybe you'll tell the truth. That would be something." She took a step forward. "You don't get to play with me like this." "I'm not playing," I said, zipping my bag. "I just figured, if you love performances so much, you could finally be the center of one without dragging me into it." I walked toward the door. "I thought you wanted to move forward," she called after me. "I do," I said, turning back one last time. "Just not with you." The next week, I started therapy. Brielle called to say brunch was awkward but manageable. Half the family assumed Mom had a scheduling mix-up, while others started putting the pieces together. Apparently, Mom tried to smooth it over with a story about a miscommunication, but she never quite committed to a lie. For the first time in a long time, she didn't have a clear narrative to fall back on. Just the truth. Messy. Uncontrolled. Public. I didn't go. Instead, I spent the morning on my porch, barefoot with coffee, watching the wind stir the trees. I felt light. Not the kind of light you feel after a good vacation or a deep sleep. This was something different. A shedding. A clearing of space I didn't even know was cluttered. I blocked her number that afternoon. Not forever. Just long enough for the silence to teach her something. And maybe long enough to teach me what it feels like to take up space without apology. It turns out the best kind of revenge isn't dramatic or cruel. It's walking away whole. And letting them watch you do it.